Financially calm people don't sit down every month to plan where every dollar will go. They don't track coffee purchases. They don't check apps every day. They don't constantly adjust categories. And yet, their money doesn't feel out of control. That's the part that confuses people, because most of us were taught that calm comes from control, from watching closely, from staying disciplined. But calm money doesn't come from paying more attention. It comes from needing to pay less attention. That difference matters. Welcome to Money Science AR. If you observe financially calm people long enough, you'll notice something subtle. They don't manage money the way advice tells you to. They don't talk about budgets. They don't obsess over optimization. They don't treat money as a daily task. Money exists in their life, but it doesn't dominate it. That's not because they're careless. It's because their system is doing the work. Let's start with what they don't do. They don't ask themselves, "Can I afford this?" 10 times a day. They don't negotiate with themselves at checkout. They don't feel a spike of anxiety every time a bill posts. Those emotional moments disappear when money is designed properly. Calm money behavior begins long before spending happens. Financially calm people decide where money goes before emotion shows up. Paychecks arrive and priorities are already handled. Savings move, bills clear, long-term goals are funded quietly. What's left is flexible, not reckless, flexible. This is the first major difference. Most people try to control spending at the moment of spending. Calm people control the system upstream. That's why they don't need discipline. The decision has already been made. Another thing you'll notice is that calm money people don't aim for perfect months. They expect imbalance. Some months are heavier, some are lighter. They don't emotionally label one month as good and another as bad. They think in averages. Over time, does this work? That's the only question that matters. Budgets collapse because they expect symmetry from an asymmetric life. Calm money behavior accepts that life is uneven and builds systems that absorb it. This is where buffers quietly change everything. Financially calm people leave space, not because they're wealthy, because they understand that edge-of-the-limit living creates constant stress. They don't use every dollar. They don't max everything out. They don't convert every raise into a fixed expense. That space absorbs mistakes. It absorbs bad timing. It absorbs being human. And because mistakes don't feel catastrophic, panic never enters the picture. Another pattern you'll notice is how calm people treat decisions. They reduce them. Most people think managing money well means making better decisions. Calm people know the real trick is making fewer decisions. Bills are automated, savings are automated, transfers happen without reminders. They don't rely on motivation, they remove the need for it. Decision fatigue is one of the most overlooked drivers of financial stress. The fewer times you need to choose, the calmer money becomes. That's why calm people don't constantly tweak their system. They set it up, then let it run. There's also a noticeable difference in how they think about lifestyle. They don't rush upgrades. They don't chase appearances. They don't confuse convenience with progress. They allow improvements slowly, intentionally, and only when the system can absorb them. This keeps fixed costs reasonable, which quietly determines everything else. When fixed costs are manageable, money feels forgiving. When they're tight, money feels hostile. Calm people protect flexibility more than image. You'll also notice how rarely they talk about money, not because it's taboo, because it's not urgent. Money only becomes loud when something is wrong. Silence is a sign of stability. Another subtle behavior is how often calm people check their finances. They don't ignore it. They don't obsess over it. They check periodically, not emotionally. They understand that constant monitoring increases anxiety and short-term thinking. Long-term systems aren't designed for daily attention. This is especially true for long-term accounts. Calm people don't react to every fluctuation. They zoom out. Time does the work. There's also a psychological shift around identity. Calm money people don't use spending to prove success. They don't use restriction to prove discipline. Money is not a scoreboard. It's a tool. That separation alone reduces emotional swings, and emotional swings are where bad decisions live. Debt is another area where calm behavior stands out. Calm people don't panic about debt, but they respect it. They understand that debt creates pressure, not just payments. They avoid casual debt. They avoid stacking obligations. They don't normalize constant leverage. This isn't fear, it's clarity. You'll also notice they aren't chasing hacks. They're not constantly changing strategies. They're not reacting to every new idea. They're not optimizing every detail. They simplify. Fewer accounts, clear priorities, predictable flows. Complexity creates stress. Simplicity creates calm. One of the most important behaviors shows up when things go wrong. Calm money people don't spiral after a mistake. They don't label themselves. They don't abandon the system. They adjust. A mistake is information, not a verdict. This keeps momentum alive. Shame kills progress. Calm thinking preserves it. Here's something that's rarely said out loud. Financial calm is not about being disciplined. It's about being forgiven by your system. A system that expects perfection will punish you. A system that expects humanity will protect you. That's why calm money behavior looks boring from the outside. It's not dramatic. It's not impressive. It doesn't create content. But boring systems quietly create stable lives. If this video felt relieving instead of exciting, that's intentional. Calm isn't loud. And if you've struggled with money despite trying hard, nothing is wrong with you. Stressful systems create stressful behavior. Calm systems create calm behavior. Change the system and behavior follows. That's the quiet truth most finance advice never tells you. If this helped you see money differently, share it with someone who feels overwhelmed but can't explain why. And subscribe to Money Science AR, where we explain money the way it actually works, with real humans, real stress, and real lives. In the next video, we'll look at how calm money systems protect you when life changes unexpectedly, without panic or drastic decisions. I'll see you in the next video on Money Science AR.